Even when I recorded that first piece of audio, I decided that day that I wanted to become the best education podcaster in the world that actually provides value to the listener, walks into their life. They don't just hear the content, but they feel it.
Andrew Tate, we've been here 3 years in the making and we're finally here.
Hey, anything in Dubai with crypto, is that literally how it is here?
I bought the Bugatti with crypto, buy all my watches with crypto.
All this shit goes up.
Frankie Lee, founder of Content Removal and host of the Frankie Lee podcast.
He dives deep with world-class achievers, sharing raw, inspiring conversations. Tune in and level up.
Create your life and create a business that generates you the cash flow, which means that you don't have to be a whore to society where you shouldn't be. Because you're focusing on the shiny object, you're focusing on the women, you're focusing on the beach club. You did not come here for that.
Yes.
You came here because you said you wanted more in your life. No man can be with who can control his sexual desires.
Frankie Lee,
Hey, it's good to be here.
the GOAT. The reason why we podcast, the person that's been doing it for years.
Oh, you're actually being serious about that?
Well, you think I was talking shit?
I thought you were just being nice. Yeah.
No, I've been watching you from Australia.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You
of
actually
course.
You actually consumed my content.
Do you not remember when you said something to me and I said to you, didn't he cry on your podcast? You're like, yeah, he cried. I was like, shouldn't that tell you that I know?
Yeah. I suppose, yeah. Well, the thing is, a lot of people come up to you and they say things to you, and it's really nice. But what I've learned in life is that I listen to all the positive and I listen to all the negative, but I don't let any of it affect me either way. So like I say thank you for anyone that writes any negative, like, oh, you bald fucker on the podcast, or you talk too much there, or whatever. I listen to all of that, but then I listen to it all and I say thank you, and I listen to all the positive stuff as well. But it's important in this game that you don't let anything get in your head too much. You know what I mean? Like otherwise you can fuck yourself one way or another. You will become less confident in what you're doing, or you can become overconfident in what you're doing. So it's just I just sit there in the middle.
Yeah.
So I just listen.
No, but I was legit. I wasn't lying to you. I've been watching your stuff since Australia. Like while I was building businesses and working, whatever, I was like watching your stuff. So that's why I know. Like most of the guests that you've had on, I've watched. My favorite one was the LCMT guy,
Adrian Patelli.
Yeah. That was sick. I really enjoyed that because he was a big deal in Australia. We knew nothing about him, right? And then you were kind of the first person that sat down with him and
This is one of the theses to my podcast. I like to get the bigger guests on that everyone knows, that have not had the depth of conversation that I know that I can bring out of them.
Yeah.
So like even like Wayne Lineker had been on loads of podcasts before. He owns Ocean Beach. He'd been on loads of podcasts before talking about women and talking about all the other crap and all the party stuff, but no one ever had a serious conversation with him. So when I brought him on the podcast, it was all about showing a side to him that he'd never shown before. So there's that type of podcast, someone who's been on loads of episodes but never been serious before. And then there's like the Adrian Patellis, which is like what I see. I look in the marketplace, I'm like, who is the undiscovered talent? Who can I bring to the podcast game that no one else has brought before, never done a podcast? The other day I brought a guy called Daniel Dallin. He's massive on YouTube. He's going to be like the next Iman Gadzhi of the YouTube space. About 125,000 subs on YouTube, but he's killing the game. Legit 8-figure business owner. Nobody has heard him talk long form before. I've just done a 2.5 hour banger with him, and it's people like that and podcasts like that really excite me, because I really believe that when you go into the right depth of conversation with these people, that you can really get some good insights out of them.
yeah. How do you prepare for your podcast? Because there is such a thing as over preparation.
So when it comes to a podcast, preparation doesn't just start on the episode itself. Preparation starts with understanding why you're starting a podcast in the first place. This is what most people fail to understand about podcast game. I started with a clearly defined why in the beginning, and my why, I can tell you off the top of my head now, is to help people break patterns and flip perspectives so they can have more clarity, direction, and success in their life. When you start with a real purposeful, clear why to anything, any business you start, podcast, whatever it is, reason to get healthy, when you start with a real why, you can do the reps required to have the success in your life. The problem is that most people are starting random shit, whether it be a podcast because they want to clip the content, they're starting a business because they want to create another flow of income. That's not strong enough, because you think about it, I've done 200 something episodes like that, something like that. I've been in the game now nearly 5 years. I've been all over the world, done it in every country you can imagine. Australia, the US, the UK, Spain, Oman, you know, everything, everywhere in between as well. You have to know why you're doing it, to spend that much money to do what we do. Because you know it's expensive. It's more expensive to do podcasting than people will ever give it credit for.
With no ROI.
With
Financial ROI.
with no direct financial ROI if you're playing the game properly from the start. Yeah, you can monetize it a lot quicker, sooner if you want to. You can throw in dumb ads, or you can get a fucking dumb Huel sponsorship or something like that.
Yeah.
And be a wanker. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
But that's not the real tangible benefit of a podcast. The
Yeah.
podcast game is about building connections. It's about offering value to people. It's about the long-term relationships that you can build. It's about taking equity plays further down the track. It's about creating a culture where you can attract the best talent into your life. That's what it's about. It's a long-term game for me. And beyond all of that, even when I recorded that first piece of audio, I decided that day that I wanted to become the best education podcaster in the world that actually provides value to the listener, that actually, you know, walks into their life, steps into life. They don't just hear the content, but they feel it. Because when it comes to transforming anybody's life, whether it be in fitness, mindset, business, whatever, money, if you hear someone's advice, but you also feel it too, that resonates. That's what I'm trying to create.
So that brings me on to our sponsor. Huel. Drink Huel. If you want to be a wanker to get sponsorship, well, our sponsors for this episode. But
I've turned so much down, mate. I haven't turned them down. They've never offered me anything. But
Yeah.
But I've turned down a lot of these podcasters that are so-called top of the game podcasters right now have the same sponsors in their podcast.
Celsius.
You know the names.
Yeah.
Celsius, the Manscaped, the Athletic Greens,
Yeah.
all these kind of things. Fuck me. Just I want to shoot myself in the head.
Have they reached out to you?
Some of the brands have, yeah. Some of those brands have, some of them haven't.
Okay.
But I don't want to go down that path. You know, I know I have to monetize it in a certain respect at some point. There will be sponsors within it, but not those sponsors, because I believe that even when you have a sponsor, they should resonate with you.
Yeah.
But